Hey guys, it's me here, and today I bring you another What If video. This time we're doing a crossover between One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen. So, let's get right into it. Alright, so I think everyone knows who Zoro is by now. He's one of the best swordsmen in the world, an expert in three-sword style combat, and has the strength to take on multiple enemies at once. Some of his most notable feats include his fight against Kaku in Eni's lobby, his battle against multiple pacifistas in water, 7 in his most recent fight against King in Wano country. And although he's still pretty far off from becoming the world's greatest swordsman, he's got all the potential to achieve that goal and then some. But what if I told you that his swordsmanship could be taken to an entirely new level? What if Zoro never developed Haki, but instead learned cursed energy and even unlocked a domain expansion? That's what we're exploring today. So I'm imagining that Zoro somehow got transported into the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. In this world, there are humans with unique abilities called cursey techniques that are born from negative human emotions. Curses are spirits that feeds off of these emotions and cause misfortune and calamity upon the human world. To counter these curses, special jujutsu sorcerers use their own cursed energy to protect humanity from harm. Now, when Zoro arrived in this world, he was immediately overwhelmed by how many curses there were. Everywhere he looked, he saw twisted creatures made of shadows and malice, preying on innocent people. Fortunately, he wasn't alone for long. Soon, he met up with characters like Gojo Satoru, Yuji Itadori, and Magami Fushi. They explained to him about the Jujutsu world and its constant battle between good and evil. Zoro, being the righteous man that he is, decided to help out, and since he had no cursed technique of his own yet, Gojo took it upon himself to teach Zoro how to use his cursed energy. It took some getting used to, but after a while, Zoro was able to harness his energy effectively enough to perform simple tasks, like cleaning a room or making a precise cut. However, he wasn't satisfied with just simple tasks. He wanted to do something more, something greater. And when a group of curses attacked the school, Zoro got his chance. Under Gojo's guidance, he unleashed his full power, and the result was nothing short of spectacular. At first, the curse didn't take Zoro seriously. They thought that even with his amazing sword skills, he wouldn't stand a chance against them. But they soon learned otherwise. Zoro's cursed energy was already strong on its own, but when combined with his sword slashes, it became incredibly dangerous. Each swing of his sword sent shockwaves of cursed energy through the air, slicing through the curses like hot butter. The curses were taken completely by surprise. They couldn't believe that someone could wield cursed energy in such a way. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. With each swing of his sword, Zoro was sending more and more cursed energy into the curses, weakening them further and further until finally, with one powerful slash, he was able to completely destroy them. It was at that moment that Gojo realized that Zoro's cursed technique was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was a perfect blend of swordsmanship and cursed energy, something that could potentially rival even the most powerful techniques out there. Seeing this, Gojo decided to help Zoro refine his technique even further. He taught Zoro how to control his cursed energy even better, how to make it stronger, faster, and more efficient. Together, they worked on creating the perfect combination of Zoro's swordsmanship and cursed energy. And finally, After months of training, Zoro was ready to put his new skills to the test. A special great curse had appeared and was causing massive destruction throughout the city. It was up to Zoro and the others to stop it. As they arrived at the scene, they found the curse surrounded by several Jujutsu sorcerers, but none of them were able to do any real damage. The curse was just too powerful. That's when it was time for Zoro to step up. Taking a deep breath, Zoro focused all of his cursed energy into his sword. His body glowed with green energy as he prepared for his attack. With a shout, he charged forward and unleashed his ultimate move, Three-Blade Severance. This was the culmination of everything that Zoro had learned. His swordsmanship, his cursed energy, and his connection with his nakama. The curse couldn't believe what it was seeing. It had never seen anything like this before. A single swordsman taking on an entire army. Not just any swordsman, but one wielding cursed energy like a god. The curse panicked and tried to escape, but it was too late. Zoro's attack was unstoppable. His three swords slashed through the air, each one imbued with deadly cursed energy. The curse screamed in agony as its body was torn apart. Its soul was sent flying as its form began to disappear. With a final flash of light, the curse was gone, leaving behind only a faint whisper of its former self. The other sorcerers were stunned. They couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. Zoro had just taken down a special grade curse all by himself. It was unbelievable, but it was true. Zoro had done it, and as the dust settled, a single thought echoed through their minds. What if this swordsman wasn't just a normal Jujutsu sorcerer? What if he was something more? What if he was a legendary swordsman from another world? A world where curses weren't just figments of imagination, but real, tangible threats. At that moment, Gojo stepped forward. He looked at Zoro with newfound respect and admiration. He knew that Zoro wasn't just a swordsman. He was a force of nature, a hurricane of steel and cursed energy. But as the celebration began, a single figure stood apart. It was Sukuna, the king of curses. He had been watching Zoro from afar, and he was intrigued. He had never seen anyone wield cursed energy like this before, and he couldn't help but wonder what would happen if he were to face Zoro in battle. Could Zoro defeat him? Would his domain expansion work against such a powerful curse? Only one way to find out. But before that, Zoro was suddenly transported back to his original world. When he arrived in the new world, he was greeted by his nakama. They were overjoyed to have him back, and they shared stories of their adventures while he was gone. But as the days passed, Zoro couldn't help but feel a sense of emptiness. He missed his time in the Jujutsu world, the battles, the training, the camaraderie. But most of all, he missed the feeling of power that he had when he wielded cursed energy. It was unlike anything he had ever experienced before. And as Zoro trained with his swords, he couldn't help but wonder, what if? What if he could use cursed energy again? What if he could return to the Jujutsu world and face Sukuna once more? Little did he know that his wish was about to come true. As a portal opened up behind him, revealing the familiar sights and sounds of the Jujutsu world, Zoro turned around and stared in amazement. The portal beckoned to him, promising new adventures and untold power. And as he stepped through, he knew that he was exactly where he needed to be. However, Back in the Jujutsu world, Sukuna couldn't help but smirk when he saw Zoro's domain. Interesting, he thought to himself. So this is the power of a swordsman from another world. I wonder if my domain would fare against his. Zoro didn't hear Sukuna's thoughts, though he was too focused on the task at hand, which was defeating the curse in front of him. With a determined look on his face, he channeled all of his cursed energy into his swords and charged forward. Now what happens next is up to you to imagine. Will Zoro be able to defeat the curse? What will Sukuna's reaction be when he sees Zoro's domain? How will Zoro's life change now that he's back in the Jujutsu world? These are all questions that I want you guys to explore in your own fan fiction. So grab your notebooks and let your imaginations run wild. Who knows? You might just create something truly amazing. And with that said, I've finished today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Until next time, see ya.